Welcome to the No Guts, No Galaxy podcast number 63. My name is Phil, and I'm your host. It is March 6, 2013, and well, my shout out, it's going to go to Darren. I'm glad you're all right, buddy, and I'm glad you're home. You sort of freaked me out with that text Saturday morning, but he is home. He is a little bit less of a man, minus a gallbladder, but I'm glad you're safe, buddy, and this podcast is for you. Brendan, who do you have tonight?
Hello, this is Brandon, also known as Catcher Kel, and tonight my shout out goes to the live studio audience, of course our listeners online, and Aces.
There you have it. Yeah, I agree. Live studio audience members representing tonight. And Daniel, Mr. Boo, who do you have, buddy?
Hey guys, my shout out's going to Star Citizen. It is a game by Chris Roberts, the guy who made Wing Commander and Freelancer. Very excited about this game. Hope it does well.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to that as well, I'm not going to lie. And Greg, who do you have tonight, bud?
I'll admit when you gave that shout out to Darren, less of a man, that's not the first thing I thought of, the gallbladder. I'm glad he's doing well too. I want to give my shout out to Guy Brand over at WeLoveFine.com. He has given me podcast swag parody with Phil, because now my podcast for EVE Online Declarations of War also has shirts.
There you have it. I know I saw that on Facebook, and you were like, shirts, oh my god. So, very, very cool.
Yeah, Phil beat me to shirts, but I was like, can't let that stand. So
if you
want to check him out, if you're into the EVE Online game, if you're part of that community, go to declarationswar.com, click the swag link.
I was going to say, I beat you to not wearing pants either. Well, podcast recording.
No, you did not.
And of course, welcome to all of our live studio audience members. Thank you for coming out. And to our new listeners out there, hopefully you enjoy this podcast as much as we do. And of course, we ask you if you like what we're doing with the podcast, with Critical Hits Comics, with both podcasts, with the YouTube videos, with the Twitch streams. Oh my gosh, here we go. With music, with, there's so much stuff. Hey, if you like what we're doing, head over to our website. There's a tip jar on the right side. Show us your love. And we ask that, hey, maybe if you're doing a little bit of shopping, we've got this awesome Amazon affiliate program. It doesn't add anything to your your order at all, but it gives us a little bit of kickback back to NGNG. It's a good way to support us, and of course it doesn't do anything to your order at all. And I actually, someone asked about getting it set up for European countries and stuff like that. Me and Darren are going to look into it, so thank you again for that suggestion. Now, tonight's going to be a little bit different. We don't have Mama Bear Darren here. And so, we've got a lot of, I would say interesting topics We've got a lot of interesting topics to cover tonight. So, I've got a few guys from the community that are part of this TS3 on a daily basis. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce them. The first guy up is Zomboid, a.k.a. Jai. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And Zomboid, you're part of Armed, so welcome Armed, and of course Jai. And the second person we have is Travis, aka Deity from Knights of the Inner Sphere. What's going on, Deity?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. And of course, on the last, but definitely not least, is Adam from Aces and my own unit. How you doing, buddy?
Doing pretty good.
All right, guys. Well, what we're going to do here is we're going to roll through a few things. We're going to dive into some, live studio questions. Then we're going to roll into some of the meat. And I want to hear your guys' opinion on some of these things because, again, my job isn't to influence everyone out there. It's to bring an informed discussion topic to you guys. And obviously, we have some interesting topics to talk about tonight. So let's go and dive into the next topic. All right, Mech of the Week, your vote, your choice. We had 44 votes on this, and the particular winner of this, well, you guys should know it pretty well, especially if you play Mech Online, but specifically, we have the Raven. Now, most of you guys know the Raven pretty well. It's actually one of those iconic mechs, look-wise, aesthetics. I don't know about you guys, but I've always sort of liked the Raven. It's just has a smooth, sort of sleek, I don't know, I never really thought of it like being a parent to like a stealth fighter, which is always angular and stuff, but it just, I don't know, it just had this different look to it. But anyways, let's get into the details. It is a light mech. It is 35 tons, and specifically one we're talking about is the 3L. It has one SRM-6, 2 medium lasers, BAP, NARC, TAG, and ECM. Now, have you guys actually utilized this in the tabletop at all, Brandon?
The Raven is one of my most favorite mechs of all time. I put it in like every Lance company, whatever I can have. If it has any sort of application, like I have any missile launching mechs of any kind, there's a Raven in that Lance.
Now, why is that though?
Because it is every piece of electronic warfare in the game at a certain tech level, all rolled up into one relatively maneuverable, not super well armored, but not bad, and pretty hard hitting package. With those medium lasers and the SRM-6, it can actually hold its own. The ECM protects it from, well, protects everybody else really from any other kind of electronic warfare coming in. It can tag things, it can shoot the NARC beacon, improve your missile hits. The Beagle Active Probe normally isn't super useful, but if you're playing with the Fog of War rules on the tabletop, it's invaluable.
Yeah, I was gonna say it definitely helps if you're playing with some of the advanced rules. Now, Brandon and Daniel, have you guys used these? Well, I mean, specifically, I think we've used the Raven in. Well, actually, did we use it in the Mech campaign?
Yeah, we didn't. Only like for a few minutes before it got destroyed horribly.
Yeah.
It lasted maybe like 3 or 4 turns.
Was that in result to you, Boo? Was that what it was?
It could have been.
So anyways, there are actually a lot of variants, and obviously there's some fun little details, and we'll go ahead and check those out really quick. Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties.
Variant that supplants the 3L though.
No, the
That's
3Ls.
my personal opinion, but
And of course, everyone out there who plays Mech Online, you're actually used to the 3L. I think most people would say it's the go-to. Now, obviously, in the tabletop, it works a little bit differently. But one thing I do want to point out is it's expensive. You know, even the 3L at 5.7 million C-bills for a light battle mech.
Well is the biggest thing.
Oh my gosh!
3.7 for a light is quite a bit.
Now, you do get your money's worth, but it's one of those things where if you're doing a campaign or something like that, do not throw this just out there without some type of protection. It's just not worth it. It's not one bit. All right, now community questions. We had a lot of community questions, but most of them were actually pointed at Garth and/or at PGI members. Garth is actually still on vacation. I asked him earlier; he's not able to come tonight, but we do have a special guest lined up next week, which is Brian Ekman. Brian Ekman's going to be on the show next Wednesday, and I'm sure he will be able to answer all of your questions, or at least I'm sure is willing to answer all of them. But so yeah, make sure to check us out next week when we have Brian on the show. But what we're going to do is, because we have certain topics that we're going to be covering in a little bit, we're just going to go ahead and skip the community questions segment, and we're going to roll right into Mech Online. And the reason being is some of these discussion topics will be actually asking your guys' opinion directly, so get ready for it. All right, for Mech War Online, we had a few things going on this past week. We had the IGN article, which basically talked about testing grounds, and which came out Tuesday. We also had info on the Cicada Hero Mech, the X5. Now, how do you guys like the X5 so far?
I've gotten to drop a few times with it. I actually really like it quite a bit. I've been trying to find a really good optimal build with it. Right now I've been rolling with either 2 medium pulse lasers and 2 streak 2s, or 4 medium lasers and 2 streak 2s.
I was going to say, I saw Garth rolling with 4 medium lasers, 2 SRM4s, and it was actually working out pretty well for him. That was actually yesterday on the Twitch event. You know, I got one, I haven't played it that much, and I still feel like I really just need to find my spot with it, and sort of like, you know, just my zen, man. I got to find the zen in it. It's not my 9 alpha. It definitely goes a little bit faster than that. I honestly think the testing grounds is probably one of the biggest things the patches for the patch on Tuesday. You know, I feel like it's sort of it's been trumped by some of the other stuff, obviously content, UI changes, and we'll get into that in a second. But I just want to sort of iterate how important it is to be able to bring in new players and them obviously watch tutorial videos and read up, but then be able to go in an environment to where they can learn those things without getting basically rolled, because you know that it's a tough learning environment when you have to learn while under fire. So kudos to that, and obviously we'll touch on that in just a second. So I honestly think that was one of the most important things. All right, so we got a March update. We've got the Jaeger mech coming out on the 19th. We had the X5 on Tuesday. We've got skins. We have the new mountain line. I really didn't like it. Do you guys like that?
I've seen some interesting concepts of people trying to use it properly, or not, I shouldn't say properly, but like some different patterns and stuff like that, but I don't like it personally.
What about you, Boo? Have you messed with it?
No, I haven't. It's different.
I've seen a lot of actually people. There's a thread on, I don't know where it was at. I don't know if it was the forums, if it was over the MWOC Reddit, but they were doing flag colors for different countries. So like I saw Spain, I saw USA. I mean, so I saw those things. So that was sort of funny. But I don't know. Aesthetically, I have looked at it on a few mechs. I just don't want to be bothered. What does the Vagabond look like? Do we know? Have we seen a picture of that?
Yeah, I have not seen that one.
No, that one's the 19th, so hopefully something better than Mountain Lion.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah. Obviously, Testing Grounds came out. Now, obviously, with March update is the Consumables, Coolant Flush, and Arty, which we'll talk about in just a minute.
Don't say the cold
yeah,
word.
I know, right? Press that button now. So we've got Tourmaline Desert. Is that the correct pronunciation for that?
I assume so. I'm not an English major, though, unfortunately.
Well,
I always pronounce it as tourmaline.
Tourmaline? Okay. There you go. Thank you, George. I was
Yeah,
going to say,
I would go tourmaline.
you do read words quite a bit. I mean, that is where you're living, so I'll
I'm
take
gonna
your
say
word
George
for
is
it.
correct.
Yes.
The
All right,
audience agrees. I win.
Isn't
we've got
tourmaline a kind of mineral, like a
Yes,
precious
it
gem?
is. It's a precious gem, semi-precious stone. Yes, it is.
well, there you have it. We also have extended user stats. Actually, this is phenomenal, by the way. We'll talk about it in just a second. And we've got new challenges soon. Design a trial mech challenge, which actually I think is really cool. They're going to be doing design a heavy mech. I think this is one of those things where I think you'll have a lot of engagement from the community to be able to say, hey, you guys design this, and then boom, it's in game. I think that's like exceptional. I think if they do a lot of those, it might just be a big hit with the community. I don't know about you guys, but it's just one of those things where it's all about engagement, right? They're creating this game, creating an experience, and to be able to say, hey guys, you have a chance to make a mark on something literally like visibly in the game, and then be able to use it. I think that's like awesome. All right, so we've got the patch notes from yesterday, March 5th. We've already talked about it, the X5 Hero Mech. Aesthetically and all those fun things, it looks really cool. It is different. It's got the missile launchers in the front, left and right torso. No ECM. I know a lot of people are like, why? It doesn't have ECM. I'm not buying it. Well, don't buy it, I guess. We've got the new hanging items. They actually introduced like 5 different ones. There's a bullet, there's dog tags, there's fuzzy dice. Actually, I need to get my fuzzy dice, and there's air freshener, which I thought was appropriate for Darren. I think we need a gift item to be able to like send it to him, I don't know about you guys. And then of course we've got savior kill and defensive kill bonus. This was actually sort of a really cool thing. It was basically saying that within like a certain time frame, if you kill someone and they've been attacking your friend within the last like 10 seconds and they were below a certain health percentage, you get a bonus. So it's just one of those things where it's a little bit added incentive to helping your friends out, and vice versa, defensive and stuff like that. Have you guys actually seen this in game yet? Have any of you guys been awarded it?
Not yet.
It's just extra money.
Just extra money, pretty much.
I'll take it every time, sure.
Yeah, I did once the savior kill, and it's nice to have a little bit of reward for it.
Awesome. Well, it's in game, so if you haven't seen it, maybe try to help out a little bit more, and you might see it. This next little tidbit: stat tracking updates. Is it just me, or is anybody else? And Jai and Adam and Travis pipe in here. I play a match and then I go refresh my stats. Are you guys doing that too?
No. Tell me.
I do.
Not true.
I know. I'm like, how accurate am I being with my PPCs, or my medium lasers? Like, is it just me? It's not. Kyle.
End of the session. End of a session for me.
Okay, well,
Do you
whatever.
have a spreadsheet? You know, do you use your spreadsheet and you write down every single thing?
Well, I'm not like going to say, okay, well, what's my kill death ratio? And what I'm saying is like, how accurate am I with my medium lasers? I think that's a good thing to be able to say, like, you know, I'm very accurate with this weapon. I need to work with this. Why? And the way I look at it is it's sort of ways to be able to say, hey, via statistics, what weapon do I need to work with? I mean, do you guys feel like that's something, a good tool to be able to at least have, you know, some feedback directly to you?
Does
I
it
can't
answer that
remember.
question though?
What's that?
Does it really tell you how accurate you are? Because all it tells you is you hit a mech. So accuracy, I think, is more defined as the component, and it doesn't really tell you that as much. It tells you good info, but
it tells you hit your target, right? Maybe not what part of your target, but at least it says you hit your target other than you totally missed, right?
But for lasers, you know, one tiny little brush is considered a hit. How much percentage of that laser actually hit the target?
And then couldn't you look at the damage and do some math and stuff? What I'm saying, though, is it at least gives you, okay, it's sort of like BMI. It's not exactly 100% accurate, but at least gives you a good idea of, you know, your performance, right?
That's a
Lovely
starting
idea.
point.
it's definitely better.
I mean, they're making some good points about, I mean, especially the laser thing. I don't know if that needs its entire own stat, but it would be interesting, right, to see how much of your laser damage is actually applied to the target that you're hitting.
Yeah, most definitely. I like it. Maybe let me know if you guys are utilizing. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the only one out of the thousands of people playing MWO. I'm the only one who does it. And I don't know. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say there's someone else, and they're probably in this channel listening as well.
Ooh, I got 48% accuracy in my machine guns.
See. All right, next item we have up. Oh, and by the way, where you can find that, if you go to mwomercs.com, if you log in, go to your forum, and you click on stats, there's multiple. It doesn't just only show your mech stats, your weapon stats. It also shows the map stats, which is sort of funny. Someone posted up a link, and they had like 2 3s on all the maps except River City Night. They had it 13 times. Holy crap, adjustments. I had it so many times last night. I was like, really? Like, can I get anything else? If it's supposed to be like equal numbers, I'm not getting equal numbers drops, just saying. But anyways, all those little info.
That's actually really funny. Up until this last patch, I had only seen Alpine Peaks once, and now I see it like every other match.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's some variables in there like, okay, well, if you played in a certain amount of time frame, you would see these, but obviously some players like myself, I'll play a little bit, then I'll get off, and then I'll come back on, so different time frames, and you know, so I'm sure it's not just tracking you and which ones you're on, but yeah, so. We also have testing grounds. Have you guys utilized this yet? Have you jumped in there and looked at it?
Yes. Oh.
I actually did use it yesterday. I got Alpine Peaks right away, and I just walked around for about a half hour checking out the whole map in my Spider.
Do you feel that you should be able to select like the map or, you know, stuff like that?
Yeah,
You-
they
you-
said that was coming, though, so I didn't think it was a big deal.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Did you feel that it was useful?
I was just going to say it's extremely useful for someone like myself, Phil, and I think it's going to be very useful for any of the new people getting into this game. And I think it's a hell of a lot better idea than the third-person view, in my opinion. But
Don't
I mean,
say that.
why? Why? Give me a reason why.
That's
It
a
is
bad
better.
word around here. Third person
Hey.
view.
I don't care. I don't want third-person view. I think it screws up the whole point of the game, in my opinion. I'm just giving my opinion. I
Yeah,
can do
that's
that.
that's valid. You tell him,
Exactly.
George. You tell
I'm
him.
telling him. I'm going to be sort of daring here. Anyway,
How dare you,
wait,
Boo?
Wait, I got to get more fur on my body. Anyway,
He's just asking questions.
Hey everybody, this is Duncan Fisher, and I like the testing grounds. Yes, I do. Because for someone like myself who does not have time to play a lot of space robot games, it's a great way to help me learn how to drive the damn thing. And it helps me learn that I can actually run most of the game on my system, which, you know, I don't have a lot of people yelling at me in chat or anything else going, hey, you suck, noob. Yes, I know that. So, you know, for me, it's perfect. And I'm just saying, I would highly endorse any improvements you can make to the testing grounds. Then
Well, there
that's
you
all
have
I'm
it.
going to say.
And I agree.
There was one thing after I had rolled around on the map for a while that I started to do. All the dummy mechs that were sitting around, I used them to figure out exactly where the hit boxes for the heads were and what angles I needed to be at on them. So
There you go. Another good reason. That's great.
See,
So
I
you
definitely want to be able to select Caustic Valley because that's what I always test my heat sinks on.
Oh, so if you're good on caustic, you're good everywhere else, huh?
Yep.
Well, one thing to keep in mind too, right now at the testing grounds, it doesn't take in effect your pilot skills that you have, so you don't get like a bonus to heat and stuff. So just keep that in mind. Your twist speeds and all that. If you're testing those variables, and they're not in the testing grounds when you drop. It's just the mech themselves. So
Now, will
obviously,
they be later, or is this like a permanent feature of that particular?
I don't
product?
know. Actually, I would think that would be in later. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's client side or if it's server side. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if those things are, and so it doesn't take an effect. I don't know. That's definitely a question that for any of the devs listening, that that info would be beneficial. We'll ask Brian next week. I think that would be a good question to ask.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely something that design-wise should be in there. Like, I can't think of a reason why you wouldn't want it in there if there's a technical ability to have it.
I think it'd be cool to be able to turn on and off. Does that make sense? To be able to say, hey, I want to see what this mech is completely stock, no, nothing. And actually, I to be honest, I want to see the numbers too. And I know it's coming probably, but I want to be able to compare, like, what is a Centurion 9 Alpha with no upgrades? Like, what's its speed of its torso twist compared to, hey, I've got Twist X. What does that actually do? What is, like, so what if it says 10%? Like, what is 10%? Like, what, give me something
Basically,
to
you
hold
want
on to.
EFT for MechWarrior Online.
Yeah, I think, you're saying it's 10%, but 10% of what? I mean, right now it's just this imaginary thing. So anyways, I think it'd be really cool. So, I'm sure it's already there. The data's there, so why not just let us know right off the bat? So, all right, guys, we got the next thing is the Cicada Quirks. I'm not a Cicada pilot. I am going to be diving into it, but obviously they did this with the Centurion chassis. Now they did it with the Cicada. I'm really liking these. I've noticed it recently with the 9 Alpha, and I hopped in like the 9AL. The little nuances and little differences, they're very, very subtle, but there is a distinct difference between them. So I definitely like them. And, obviously as they move forward, they're going to do more and more and more.
Phil, can I ask a quick dumb question that may be dumb, maybe not?
No, shoot, man.
When you were doing a Twitch event, not trying to embarrass you here, but when you were doing a Twitch event and you were playing with the X5 Hero Mech, I don't mean to be an idiot, but that's a Cicada, is it not?
Yes.
Man, what did you do, dude?
I got raped. That's what I got.
Oh no, you didn't say that again. Oh, frick.
Well, okay. Irregardless, I got basically wrecked. That's what I got. That's what. I know some people don't like my word. I didn't mean to use that, but I got wrecked, basically in that. So, yeah, I'm not a very good pilot. I don't know when it comes to something
You're an
moving
excellent
130.
pilot. Don't give me that crap. That just you weren't used to that side of a mech.
No, I'm not used to it.
It's weird watching you get bounced.
Yeah, that's
and I
pretty
like
much.
watching you play. You're good, but Jesus, dude.
Well, one, I need more practice in it, to be honest. I need to be able to know, and I guess that's why I feel so comfortable in the Hunchback and the Centurion, is because I have played in them so much. I know, hey, I can do this or I can't do that, or type spot. So I guess it's the same thing with someone who's in an Atlas pilot or a Stalker pilot. They know the little. It's almost like it becomes second nature. So, and of course on the Twitch events too, like we get hunted down like dogs, man. Like, if people who are watching, and I laugh most of the time. Sometimes it's frustrating because I just want to play out. Like, it's not necessarily, I don't care about the win-loss. It's like, I want a good fight, Like, sometimes, dude, it's just like, I'll have 8 mechs, like, literally just coming at me, and I'm like, oh, shit. But nah, that doesn't hurt my feelings, George, at all. It happens.
Good man. Oh, it does. But someday you'll see me playing in there, and you can just have a good laugh too.
All right, so the next thing we have on the notes is the Tourmaline desert map. And this was actually, Brandon, you found this earlier, and this is a picture, it looks like, of a top-down view. Where was this? Where did you find this?
I found this on, basically MWOarena.com.
What is MW Arena? What is that?
Like a hack site, I'm guessing.
Well, these files and stuff are in the in-game files, are they not? I mean,
Yeah.
and they just get pulled out. It's sort of like the 3D models. You can rip those out as well.
I actually had someone point me over to the website, saying that they had it up as the background, and I was able to track down through the background, the file.
Now, pulling up that picture, I mean, it's not like high fidelity or something like that, but you can definitely understand the layout of it. Do we know if this is actually it, or is this just like an old version, or what?
A while back, I'm trying to remember what user it was, went data mining in the files and found a map with the same name, and it looks fairly close to it actually, except for that one there was the old style battle grid map, which was the really blue shaded colors.
Gotcha. And there looks to be a drop ship. You can see a lot of choke points in there. I'm actually looking forward to this map. They said it's as big, if not bigger, than Caustic Valley. Is that correct? Wasn't someone saying that?
It's supposed to be, I think they said it's the biggest, though considering Alpine, I'm not entirely sure on that.
Bigger than Alpine? Holy shit.
Well, I mean, that's what it was in the newest post there. They said it was the biggest map they've ever made, but I mean, I still think Alpine's going to be bigger. Maybe in total size, the new desert map's going to be bigger, but I think for playable area, I think it's going to be smaller.
If this is the map, looking at it now, it looks like it's going to be a lot of corridor fighting.
Yep.
Now, what's
Some
up with the
choke
drop
points.
ships? What's up with these drop ships? They're always crashing in these maps.
Bad
I know.
pilots.
I know
They're
they
like
give
these
up the
prized
map.
possessions in the BattleTech universe, and here they are burning. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and move on, and I want to talk about some stuff that came out, and specifically, we're gonna talk about consumables, and consumables. So what what I did is, again, my place as the host and as NGNG is not to influence your decision. It's basically to bring facts, bring an adult conversation to to bear, and look at things. I know, right? And look to what you guys think. And it's one of those things that's really tough sometimes because we do skirt the edge sometimes. So what I've done today is I've got Adam and Deity and of course Zomboid here to pipe in, and I want to hear what your guys' thoughts are because you guys are pretty active in the game. Some of you, like Zomboid, and I know Adam, you guys are in unit leader sort of roles in your particular units. So let's go ahead and jump into consumables. Now, this came out March 4th, and it basically talked about the tier system. And for those that aren't familiar with it, you had basically your C bills, and then you had your MC purchases. And let's go ahead and talk about the first one up, which is the Coolant Flush. Now, the facts here, and I'm looking at the stats, and we did have Brian pipe in, and he gave the numbers for this, but here's the data. It says Coolant Flush will come in two forms: C-bill purchased and MC purchased. The following shows how the two are balanced. And it basically says that the amount of cooling provided by a Coolant Flush is determined by the number of heat sinks in your battle mech. And if you do that, a small Coolant Flush will instantly reduce your battle mech's current heat by 15%. A medium will reduce it by 20%. And they say Coolant 1 and 2 are stackable. Each Coolant Flush will take up one module slot. The C-bill purchased Coolant Flush will allow a player to trigger a Coolant Flush twice during a match. Then it goes on to say, upon using Coolant Flush, the player will have to repurchase. So basically, it's one-time use. If you've played World of Tanks or any other free-to-play, this is very similar to how they do it. Now, MC purchase Coolant Flush is basically it's determined by the amount of heat sinks. Again, assuming you have 10, is 35% reduction. Now, a large Coolant Flush is not stackable with any other Coolant Flushes. It takes up one module slot by itself, and looks like same thing. Once you trigger it, you have to repurchase it. And they're not stackable though, for the C-bill and the MC, so you can only use the two C-bills together, which are stackable, or use the MC by itself. All right. Let me go ahead and get... Yes.
To be clear, do the C-bill Coolant Flushes also take up a module slot?
Yes, one each. So if you were to bring two of them, it would take up two module slots, and the MC would only take up one. So obviously, when this was posted, it exploded on the forums, and there's valid arguments on both sides. But I just want to ask your guys' opinion, and we'll start with Dee. What your initial thoughts were, and do you see this as a positive or negative thing, and why?
I don't like it because to me it's like playing with fire, especially when you get into the competitive. Now on a pug level, it's not going to make a difference. It's a one or two, I think 2 max flushes per match. It's not going to be a game breaker on a pug level. But when you get to the competitive level and you've got people min-maxing as much as humanly possible, people are going to use it as an excuse. Oh, well, you paid to bring the MC Coolant Flush or the MC Artillery Strike or what have you. And that is an advantage no matter what tiny percent of an advantage it is. People are going to latch onto that, and it's going to invalidate the competitive claim of I won, therefore I am better than you. They're going to say, no, you won because you paid for it. And why go there?
So you're saying like let's scenario if I didn't have any of this, even the MC, and you were about to die, and I was engaging you, but you were able to flush your coolant. And mind you, keep in mind this is based on 10 heat sinks, and it scales upward. So if you do the math, and you were basically able to kill me because you were able to flush and kill me using this, it sort of leans to, well, now if I don't have one, I'm at a disadvantage. Is that what you're sort of saying?
And multiplied by 8 people or 12 people once we get some 12v12 going on. Really, I'm thinking about it at the competitive scene.
Okay.
On a 1 versus 1, when you meet some random guy in a game that you solo queued up for, I don't think it's even going to come into play. But once we start getting people with tournaments or even community warfare, when things are really on the line and therefore people are going to be using every advantage they possibly can, when 12 people are all doing this, it's going to make a noticeable difference as opposed to one guy here and there.
Okay, so you're saying that pretty much, well, we also have to look at, this is a one-time use, right? Like you press and it poof, it only happens once. So keep that in mind. I know a lot of people had a knee-jerk reaction to it. I raised my eyebrow as soon as I heard coolant. I was thinking Mech 4 or even the Living Legends type of coolant system they have, to where you guys remember the days, Mech Warrior 4, right? 70-yard large Nova Cat. You would alpha, you'd about to go shut down, you tap C, alpha again, tap C, alpha again, tap C. So it's some valid concerns there, and I want to bring that to mind. Is I'm right there with you. As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh. But then I read a little bit more, and I thought a little bit, and it's a one-time thing. Like, I'm about to shut down, I hit it once. Now, irregardless of, the repercussions, what I'm saying is, like, it's a lot better to me when I read that than, holy crap, we're about to have the Mech Warrior 4 coolant system, and I was sort of like, oh crap.
Well, I think it's interesting, and another dynamic to this is it's taking up a module slot. So unlike Mech Warrior 4 or unlike Living Legends, where it pretty much comes with every mech, now you're making a conscious trade-off. You're planning ahead to, okay, I'm going to incorporate coolant into my mech, and I'm going to give up something to do that. And maybe somebody else is going to use different things in those module slots. Now maybe there needs to be balance tweaks to the effectiveness of coolant versus the effectiveness of things that could be taking up that slot too. But it opens up a little more tactical gameplay. I have more problem with the MC variant being more powerful than the C-bill variant. I think.
Why is that though specifically?
I think that's a dangerous first step into the golden ammo territory. Any time that you're offering tangible, even if it's consumable once only, like if you buy this item for $1, you'll have an extreme advantage over someone that does not have it.
Well, I will say we've got a few people that are saying, "Oh, it's one shot." I want to bring to mind it's actually not one shot. So, for instance, I know a lot of people have been using the Stalker PPC. So, if you actually look at it and you do the math, you could be at almost 100% heat level, and with and granted, remember this isn't just 35%. This is
35% at 10 heat sinks.
At 10 heat sinks. How many heat sinks can you fit on a assault mech? You know, single, even if it's single heat sinks.
It's
a lot, right?
I built a Stalker which had, I think, 35?
Yeah. So imagine, and you guys know it. You can alpha quite a bit with some of the large weaponry. It's usually 2 or 3 alphas. Now imagine right before you're about to kill this guy because he's going to shut down. Right, it's like you're on the edge of your seat, and he's able to dump his coolant, and he's able to alpha 2 or 3 more times. How much damage is 5 or 6 PPCs or 5 large lasers? I mean, I'm literally asking. That's what I'm saying is to keep in mind is it's quite a bit of damage, right? I mean, right there.
Between 40 to 60, basically.
So I can understand someone's valid concern of, hey, introducing Coolant Flush is introducing power. I'm not talking about MC or C bills. What I'm saying is just the concept is alone is you're introducing power. And what I'm wondering is, like you said, Greg, is taking a module slot. And is it one of those things where if you don't take it, you're always at a disadvantage? And it's one of those. But before we get into that, I want to ask, of course, Jai, your thought on all this.
Well, firstly, call me Zomboid, please. Much prefer it. Within Armed, I've detected there's a lot of dislike and distrust of the consumables. We don't particularly like where it's aiming. It's not so much the Coolant Flush; it's the fact that there are going to be more and more possibilities for this. And in the current way it's framed, I can see some issues of if there was a balance to them, more than just taking up a module slot. I think they'd be much better implemented. For example, with your Coolant Flush, alright, you flush your coolant, now your heat sinks work at 0.1% less for the rest of the match because you have less coolant in your mech. There's a balance mechanism that could possibly work for it.
Let me interject here too. Is I want to bring something out there. You brought up flushing your coolant, and then afterwards you have some type of degenerated state of cooling. Now, I do want to bring to your point that coolant and this ability to flush your coolant, which was introduced with the MechWarrior 4, which is Microsoft, never in any previous MechWarrior title was it there. It was never in the tabletop, except for coolant pods, which is different. And I want to bring to mind is what happens in your car if you cut your radiator line.
Bad stuff.
Bad stuff, right? That's how mechs are, and it's unfortunate. I don't know where this introduction of, where does this coolant come from? I mean, you can't just take coolant, why do you load up ammo in your weapons? It's because that weapon requires ammo, right? It physically takes up tonnage. Where is this coolant coming from? If they're going to introduce coolant, why isn't it taking up crit spaces and stuff like that? It's someone says magic. Well, like you said, I almost understand where it should be a positive and a negative. You know what? It might dump 35% or however many based on, that time you use it. But I think it's one of those things where it should be a positive and there should be a slight negative to using it. Like, hey, my coolant efficiency, I just dumped half of my coolant out and now my mech runs hotter. I mean, and that's how I feel like they could possibly balance this, one of those things to where, maybe in a Stalker you're able to alpha or whatever twice before you hit the red line. But after you dumped your coolant, you're only able to, you know what I'm saying?
I think it's an excellent and very logical point of balance.
Someone
really
brings up...
idea. I hope they do it.
Someone brings up cost is the negative. Cost is nothing. Cost is We saw it
You
with
can't balance like
Repair and
that.
Rearm. Yeah, Repair and Rearm. It wasn't viable. It wasn't fun. MC, if you look at the MC cost of this, is going to be like 10 cents per item, and then they set a few thousand C bills for the tier 1 and tier 2.
Yeah,
So
5,000 for tier 1, 7,500 for tier 2. That's really nothing for free stuff.
Honest-
The issue, isn't it, though? The more balanced they make it, the less of a reason people have to buy it, and at the end of the day, it's a revenue generation move.
So is that, and again, that's a valid concern or a point discussion topic is this a move by PGI to bring something to the table and start the move? Because I can think of a few things off the top of my head for consumables that have nothing to do with power, but would obviously add to gameplay. Is this a marketing thing? It is the publisher behind it? Is IGP behind some of these decisions? I guess my question, and actually, before we get to that, Adam, what are your thoughts so far?
To be bluntly honest,
Be honest. I mean, you don't have to.
I hate the
Okay.
idea. It's a giant crutch that doesn't belong in this game. Truthfully, that's my opinion of it. But my opinion doesn't matter. It's happening. I got to live with it because I'm a realist.
Okay, so let me ask you though: I want to hear why don't you like it? Why do you think it's a crutch?
I don't like it because it gives people an excuse to not manage one of the core mechanics of gameplay that is in MechWarrior Online. They can basically ignore a good portion of their heat scale and go alpha crazy and not have it cuts some skill out of it, is I guess what it really bothers me about it.
Now, can I ask you guys, and this is my opinion on heat. I actually feel like heat right now in MWO is the closest we have ever experienced in a BattleTech universe sense in a MechWarrior game. Like, you literally have consequences and actions, and the last time we saw a MechWarrior game, or I should say MechWarrior 4, there was huge disparities in heat balance. There huge problems. The tabletop, there's huge problems in heat balance. I know a lot of people give PGI flack about double heat sinks and stuff like that, but I think we all can realize that there are some major issues when it comes to this or that, when it comes to heat. But I really enjoy the heat right now as far as what's in MechWarrior Online. I mean, and I guess that's my question is, why this? Why coolant? Why something to do with heat when heat to me is just it's there? Like, I feel like obviously there could be a little work with weapons and heat and stuff like that and generation, but I actually feel like a lot of people do you guys feel like heat? I mean, do you like it in its current state?
Heat
Oh,
right
yeah.
now, I think, is probably one of the better places that it's been, especially when you're comparing to like early beta and stuff like that. But right now, I think it's really fine. There's no more. I don't find anything more fun right now than getting up to about 90% heat and then wondering if my two medium lasers are going to be over or not. Trading blows with an Atlas, like, that's fun to me.
The only problem I have with heat, at least when I played last week, was I think still the missile launchers and projectile weapons are a little hotter than they maybe should be. But overall, I'm pretty pleased with how heat works, and what I like about it is you definitely feel the heat pressure, even if you're not on Caustic Valley. Like, it forces you to keep your eye on it without being completely detrimental to the fun aspect of the gameplay, and I think that's a really important intangible balance to have met.
Because that's BattleTech at its heart, right? I mean, you read the novels.
Yep.
MechWarriors have to face heat. Obviously it's a little bit different. It's hard to simulate that type of heat when you're sitting at your computer desk, and we're all, it's very, very difficult. But
You know what you need to do to simulate it? Just get like a whole, tube of that icy hot stuff and just rub it all over you. Then you'll be all set. You can simulate MechWarrior BattleTech heat to your heart's content.
George is like, put it on your thighs, boy. Put it on your thighs.
If it works, whatever you do.
Officially sanctioned USB peripheral. It's just like a gigantic heat blanket, like a heat snuggie. and just
There you
makes
go.
you sweat at your computer.
I could just see it now. Son, what the hell are you doing? I'm in a battle, and I'm immersing myself, Mom. Get the hell out.
George,
Your own
jeez.
laundry, kids.
Okay, so-
I need you to say "rub it" all over again so I can record it, put it in a loop, and play it all the time while I'm in game.
Okay, so from what I get is you guys' main concerns with it is that it gives power to one possible side, one person, when the other person may not have it, and or please don't unmute. You know, that's one of the things we tell people. He's gone. So what I'm hearing you guys talk about is basically that it gives you some type of advantage over the player. Like, you guys aren't necessarily against coolant. You guys are against the ability for one player to have an advantage over the other. I mean, is that what I'm getting at? Like, if they would have just said, hey,
Not
we're going to
advantage over
introduce...
the other. That advantage via their real life wallet over the other. In other words, it's fine if both players can have coolant. Whoa, that's my cell phone. It's one thing if players can have coolant. Like, okay, I do kind of agree it goes against the heat mechanic a little bit, but if there's a trade-off and it's something you also have to manage, I think with a little balancing it could be interesting. But if the best coolant is like 20% that a non-paying player can do, and the other player can do 35%, or even 21%, it's an advantage. And it's an advantage that'll be exploited.
No, and you're saying it's an advantage in the form of MC, which a paying player could have. And so I know a lot of people do not like this term, pay to win. You know, you pay for gold ammo, like we've heard and seen in World of Tanks. I know this isn't weapons, and but when it allows
right?
weapons, yeah, when it allows heat, which is therefore the ability to fire.
If you're in an awesome with 3 PPCs and one player can fire 3 shots with his 20% coolant, and then your increased value coolant from your NC allows you to get off a 4th shot, well, you might as well have an extra set of PPCs strapped to your awesome.
Okay.
Artillery strikes and airstrikes too.
Yeah,
And-
I was going to get to that.
That's the next topic, and you know,
Actually, with the Coolant Flush, one of the things that I see as a problem is the fact that the MC one does take up one module slot, and the C bills take up 2. For the fact that the person paying for the MC version has now an advantage over the C bill version because they have the extra module slot, which they could fit an artillery strike or an extra module slot into it, and that is an advantage over someone who's paying with C bills.
No, I get it. Yeah, most definitely. All right, so we also have arty strikes, which you guys were just talking about, and airstrikes. Before we get in, obviously we haven't really seen details on it, but I wanted to ask you guys, would you, given the current state of the game, right, you're running around, you're fighting, would you like the feeling that you just got smacked with a barrage of arty and it just killed you? I mean, is that something you want to see in the game?
For those giant clusters of assault mechs, yes. Since I'm mainly a light, medium guy, I would love to do that to them.
Okay, and what if you're in your light and all of a sudden one of these hits you?
They'd have to time it perfectly because I'm usually not around other people.
I get you.
Yeah, if you get hit by it
if
with
you
a
want to
light,
think artillery in the game, or in the novels, anytime there's a light mech involved in an artillery portion of the novel, they're usually in the context of being blown to smithereens.
I got you. Daniel, what was that?
I was about to say, if you're on a light and running around, they hit you. That's actually a pretty good skill right there.
And granted, we don't know the details about artillery strikes or airstrikes. Like, we don't know if there's going to be a delay per, necessarily how the interface is going to be and stuff like that. But, Travis, what are your thoughts? I know we saw this in Living Legends with the what was it? The artillery.
Both really, the long tom and and the syllabombs and whatnot.
Oh my god, the long tom, dude, that thing was wrecking. And jeez,
I loved firebombing people.
I can never figure out how to fire it.
When
It's like
somebody
this new
is
interface
good
is
on it,
like, what is going on?
like I remember Rat Buddy used to have that thing spot on. He could put a long tom in between a set of Atlas eyes. But I think it entirely depends in MWO on implementation. I think, does it have to have a light mech spotting for it? That's a big part of it. Or can you just click on your map and put down an airstrike? Maybe for an artillery strike, you have to have a light spotter, but for an airstrike, you can kind of go blind. I think it entirely depends on how they implement it. But again, they're walking this fine line of, if they implement it and it's too weak, well then why would you want to buy it? And it'll be a dead item that they put development time into. If they implement it and it's too strong, then it becomes pay to win. So it's a really kind of a tightrope that they're walking here.
I think they could fix the idea behind it, and I'm hoping they work on a similar concept with it, where if someone sets an artillery strike, there's a timer before it goes off. All the mechs in that area suddenly get a warning: artillery strike incoming. Or airstrike incoming, gives them a chance to try and scatter. Obviously Atlases will struggle, but I'd also like to see those kind of things only allowed in a mech with a command console. If you do not have a command console in your mech, you can't add the module for an artillery strike. You can't add the module for an airstrike because you don't have physically in your mech the ability to coordinate that.
Now, and keep in mind too with Artie, and we do have a post here by Brian Ekman, and he basically says, here are some highlights. There are cooldown timers. Cooldown timers make sure there is a space in between shots and prevents a team from coordinating a single mass strike. The CBL version does more damage. It does more damage, but it's slower to the target, which means there's travel times. And then the MC version does less damage, but is faster to target. Now, 10,000 CB and 25 MC. Only one can be equipped, only one use per match, and consumed when used. Now, when I look at it, this doesn't necessarily bother me per se, but like you said, Travis, it is very important to make sure that it is balanced. The reason being is, if you're a stationary sniper in the background and someone gets eyes on you and drops one of these on you, like, to me, I'm like, well, you sort of had it coming. I mean, you shouldn't, it's one of those trade-offs. Like, a light mech can literally effectively take out targets, call targets, paint targets. But then on the flip side, can you imagine being like that Jenner full speed on the run and just someone really good skills, pick the right spot and just boom, just takes you out. Like, I know everyone in this room, if you were playing in that match, you'd be like, oh shit, like, oh snap, that was great, good hit. Now, to the Jenner pilot, he'd be like, what the hell? But
not only that, think of team kills. People are going to be launching these things off in the middle of a big brawl, and oh man, I get team killed already, and it's bad.
Can I ask you guys a question about team kills? A few other games that I play, it punishes you heavily. I mean, like 10,000 MC, that's a pretty, and considering, like, if I kill someone, yes, I've done it on Twitch too. I don't always mean to do it, and it is a very tricky business, like one of our listeners is showing. But what do you guys feel like with Artie? Like, I mean, being able to, and is it a single, is it area effect? Is it single? Is it you get hit by it like a shell, or is it pops open and spreads over the damage like thunder rounds? I mean, what are we looking at?
Maybe Mech Commander style.
The sort of just, and it's an area effect. It's center of the impact is the most damage.
Yeah, I could imagine them doing something like that. It worked well in Mech Commander. Obviously, different game, but you knew it was coming. You had an idea what was going to happen. Yeah, and you always try to put those dirty clan mechs right in the center of it.
Dude, Mad Cat. So, I think we're all sort of, we're not as about the Artie and airstrikes, but I think we can all agree that I can, off the top of my head, I can think of a few other consumables they could have introduced that don't have to do with power and coolant. And I guess that's my question at the end of the day is, with Heat being as like I said, as fun and engaging and as close to Battletech as I feel like, why are we introducing something to do with coolant? And we already do see boats out there, and like you guys said, the regular Joe Schmo players, probably it won't really affect as much. But the way I look at it is the people on this channel right now, the people listening to this podcast are probably, for the most part, your very diehard fans, competitive players. And I feel like it'll just be something that everyone uses, because if you don't utilize it, you'll be at a crutch. Now, again, this is just speculation. And of course, we have Brian on next week to be able to clarify it. But one thing I do want to say is thank you guys for having a level-headed, adult conversation about a topic that obviously is very heated. And I do appreciate that. And I want to say to everyone out there, that is what you need to bring to the table. I was actually sort of, I don't know about you guys, and I do follow the forums, but I just was sort of sickened by it. And again, thank you guys for just sort of bringing that I guess cool thinking to it. But we're gonna go roll into some of the other topics, because there was some more. Yes, go ahead, Daniel.
We have a bit about the artillery, but really nothing about the airstrikes. I would love to see airstrikes actually be helicopters or aerospace coming in. And if I'm in a Jaeger mech, I won't be able to shoot them down.
You know what would be really cool is like an airstrike that you can call it using the map, and you can call it from what direction it's coming in, so it damages in a line up to the target. Does that make sense? So like you can imagine like targets in are in a line, and you could just do down the line.
They carpet bomb it.
Yeah, a strafing run on them. I think that would be really cool. I mean, aerospace fighter coming from off screen on screen. Yeah, you are right about that. That would be very sweet.
But as I said, my biggest fear would be if they don't put a limit, as in you have to carry something like a command console, is you'll have teams jump in and go, oh, everyone's got an airstrike, everyone's got artillery. Oh, I may only be able to use it once a match, but my next mate probably can use one. And I want to
see an explanation of where does this coolant come from, and when you use it, and it's going, right? Because, I mean, let's be honest, we're talking about mech and Battletech. Coolant is in your mech. It's your blood of your mech. And are you flushing it over, which, by the way, they're not actually heat sinks, for all of you Battletech nerds out there, you probably already know this. They're heat pumps. They're radiators. If it's pushing the coolant over the radiators, it's out of your mech. So therefore, you should be less efficient at heat capabilities. And, I would have no problem with this taking up some weight or something like that. I don't know. It's one of those things.
Let's take it to Brian next week.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good conversation. I'm sure, they're willing to explain it a little bit more, and we'll find out more details. And I want to bring this to light. This is only an initial proposal. They've said that things will change, and I'm hoping they do listen to their community and seeing the wants and nots, what people want and what they don't want, and taking, things in stride. And I will say this, PGI has done that. And for all those naysayers out there, well, just shame on you. You can keep being negative, but they have listened multiple times. So I have my trust in the group. So let's go and move on to the next questions. Now, we also had State Rewind. Wow. Just wow. Lasers hitting their target, registering damage, no matter. I mean, when Aussies are reporting they're doing damage with lasers, something is done right. So first off, we'll go ahead and go to our Aussie. What do you think, Jai? I mean, has it been working?
Definitely. If you want to ask Taj down there, all I've heard is him crowing about how suddenly his Ravens got even more scary because he can hit with lasers constantly now.
Yeah, most definitely. Now, we did have Russ on the Twitch event yesterday, and I was, I piped in here or there, and he said that the other weapons, ballistic and all that, will be touched up in the not too distant future. And that just leads me to believe, like, wow, lasers are this effective now? No more leading my targets. Like, it'll be so nice to where when I don't have to lead my, AC 10 rounds or my SRMs and miss because I gave him too much lead or I didn't lead him enough, like PPCs, because I love my PPCs, to death. But Adam and Travis and Brandon, what do you guys feel?
Oh, it's been fantastic. You can notice the difference right away. I mean, not only are they more, like, you can hit components of light mechs as they're flying around with lasers.
Brandon, have you? Go ahead.
Go ahead. What was your?
Okay. I was to say I've enjoyed trolling Raven 3Ls and my dragon with my 2 large lasers now.
I was going to
There you
say,
go.
I dropped with my Hunchback earlier today, and it's really nice being able to hit things with lasers far out and up close.
Yeah, and that's one of those things. I actually love lasers. A lot of my builds have medium lasers, if anything, and large lasers. So I cannot wait to when ballistics are affected by this, and they do a state rewind for that. And it is very surprising. You look at the explanation they have there in diagrams, and like people like really have to understand the mechanics behind the scene when server-side authentication, like the mech you're looking at isn't actually there via server. It's already a step ahead and firing, and this like it was like, oh my god, my head just. But it's very, very cool to be able to see that sort of thought process and the technology behind it, and makes you appreciate too how much like design goes into these things. I mean, it's not an easy thing to design something like that. Now onto something else. So we've got the Mech Lab details. Love it. I asked about having critical spaces free, and boom, there you go. It's in game. You can mouse over the weapons. It tells you where they are. Mouse over items. It just, yes, and yes. It's another. You can actually see items. Mouse over the items in the purchase. Like, you're gonna go buy a mech. Hey, mouse over those weapons. It tells you where they are. Like, I don't really need to ask you guys. I think I pretty understand, like, you guys feel the same way. Now, is there anything in the Mech Lab display that you guys feel there could still be additional info added?
Oh, hell yes. And it comes down to just being able to sort my mechs by weight class and have tabs for it. Tab for my medium mechs, tab for my light mechs. I would kill for that. Maybe even give you the option while in the Mech Lab to pre-configure what buttons you're using to shoot certain weapons.
So you're saying sort of like, I think they've mentioned Mech Lab 2.0 UI or something like that. So you're saying like, one, I don't know about you guys, but I want to utilize my 27-inch monitor and my 2560 by 1440 res. I want to be able to utilize that, be at full screen. And I feel like you add that space, you'll be able to see a lot more what's going on. I feel like that's just a big thing. Gogil out in the audience says a tab for saved loadouts. Yes. What about you guys? Travis, anything that you're wanting to see that's not implemented yet?
I just want to rename my mechs.
Brandon?
I think pretty much everything I would look for has already been said, like reorganizing your mechs, renaming your mechs, having a tab for weapon loadouts. I think that would probably be one of the best things.
Yeah, someone's asking.
For the win.
Yeah, definitely. I know some people are like, oh, well, you can just alt enter. That's not the same thing, guys. No. So
also,
David just brought up Sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead, Sunboy. Go ahead.
David just put up a good thing. I'd like to see also on the bottom with all your mechs, actually a little symbol to say which ones have little symbols for all the modules, so you can look down the bottom and say, okay, there's where that mech has my capture module. Oh, look, that mech has my hula girl sitting in its front. That'd be nice too, so if you want to move them, you know which mech you're looking for.
Yeah, most definitely. And remember, too, this is so much info, too, and this is why I think the testing grounds, I'd like to see a few more things for testing grounds, moving targets, maybe some voiceovers that helps the player understand, like, yeah, I mean, you guys remember the training videos in MechWarrior 3 and 4 and 2, like, okay, I'm your, Sibcode trainer, you're going to move out to, Charlie Point 8, I mean, torso twist left, torso twist right. Now, granted, I know it's probably on their to-do list or want-to-do list. It's just one of those things where I feel like it'll add to a new player's experience that much more. But let's go ahead and move on. We've got Brian Ekman obviously touched
on that topic. Let me just chime in one last thing.
Yeah.
I saw an interesting post. Somebody said in an LRM OP thread that you should have to complete a level of like 2 minutes of LRM bombardment, and if you survive, you can move on to play in the game.
Gotcha. Be like our
Actually,
comic strip.
Actually, Phil, something about the that I wanted to add about the Mech Lab. If you haven't used Smurfy recently, they color coordinated all the weapons. I would like to see that actually in the Mech Lab. So if you're just doing a quick rundown of what your what's on your arm and stuff like that, You can see, red's laser, green's missile, yellow's ballistic, so you can just
Sort
do
of
a
like
quick eye by. Yeah.
Sort of like Mech 4. Mech 4
Yeah,
had
in
that.
a way, yeah.
You know what I'm wondering is how much more they're gonna pour into the current one, to where they're like, you know what, hey, we're just not gonna do anything more because the new one is coming out and it's gonna address all these. So that's what I'm wondering too, is like how much more are they gonna add to the current, and how much more can they fit, really, right? Compared to the new one, where it'll probably be all like fancy and smancy and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. All right, moving on to MechWarrior Tactics. We obviously are, promoting heavily the Founders Program. We haven't heard any info. I have been talking to them. As soon as we can, we'll be talking about it and maybe even showcasing some, gameplay footage. We've been having their devs, and that's Roadhouse Interactive, on the Mechs, Devs, and Beer. It's been really nice, and I will reach out to them and see. Hopefully, we can have them again on the podcast. Maybe explain a few things here or there, and I'm really hoping to actually see more info come out of it soon. I'm excited about it. I feel like it'll be another good addition to the genre in general. And it's one of those things where more info, more games, why not? So yeah, that's all really I have for tactics. Other than, of course, we got the Founders Program. Make sure to head over there. You've got MMO Bomb. Thank you again, David Monsoon, for linking that. Beta keys, if you haven't got one, well, you have a chance to go grab one, and if you don't, it is on you, not me. The Battletech board game, again, this podcast is actually sponsored by Catalyst Games. I'd like to say thank you again to Randall for doing it. We've got the giveaways, which, by the way, will be starting when we do the new website and forum. But one thing I did want to say, again, is hopefully you guys are following along. I actually had someone on TS3 say, Phil, I played my first tabletop game, and I thoroughly loved it. I don't know who that was. It was someone in the past week, and it put a smile on my face, because I was like, that is freaking amazing. And they're saying, you know what? I thoroughly enjoyed it. My buddies enjoyed it, and, hopefully they continue playing. Make sure to get some of these little... Oh, by the way, I found my miniature that you guys got me. Remember the Stormcrow? What was that, last year for my birthday? Is that when you guys did that, Brandon?
Yes, that was last year. Yeah.
It was in the cat litter box, wasn't it, Phil?
It was in the cat litter box, but for the video, I'm holding it right now, and obviously this is the Stormcrow. Reason why they got the Stormcrow, and he had UC do and we had UC on the podcast that one day, and he paints and does these miniatures. And the cool thing with it was I'd done the Stormcrow Ryokan for the MechWarrior Living Legends mod team. I was the modeler for that, and so they got it, and it was really cool. So again, thank you for that. And I found it was in a box I'd packed, and I totally just found it like a few days ago. Someone asked Dyrus Nye, that was you, Phil? Yes, I did the Stormcrow model for Living Legends, which Dee, I played that damn thing. That thing was straight up evil, man.
Yeah, I remember the AC-20 variant with 4 medium lasers. That's like a mini Atlas in MWO.
It was ridiculous, man. And it's sleek profile, good amount of speed. I'll tell you what was fast, though, was the Blackliner. Oh my god, that thing, it was like 130 some kph, a medium, or not medium, it was a heavy. Just ridiculous. So,
yeah, medium. You're right, medium.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a 50? It's 55. Is there a 50?
50 or 55?
Yeesh. I was wrong on that one. But all right, so again, that's one of those things where if you like the Battletech board game, the miniatures. By the way, I actually may talk to UC about, for those out there, let me know if you guys would be interested in purchasing some painted, like really good high fidelity miniatures. And if so, I can touch base with UC and sort of sit down and come up with a cost plan, and maybe he can get some business going. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know, and we'll go from there.
Phil,
Yep.
I will make your day by saying very shortly I will be playing my first ever board game once I organise it with Apostle and other armed members. Also, I'm interested in getting some armed miniatures painted up. So
There you have it. Sweet mech porn. Right in your hand. It can fit in your hand. All right, we also have MechWarrior Tactical Command. I told you guys last Wednesday that I would be giving out 2 posters, and these are the Tactical Command Atlas posters. I've got 2 of them ready to go, and we will be giving those away at the end of the podcast. All right, moving on to the news. The NoGutsNoGalaxy News, founded in 2011, reporting in 3050. Hey, make sure to go over to our YouTube channel, NoGutsNoGalaxy TV, on our YouTube. Basically, I posted up a Cataphract ride-along video, the 2X. I told you guys I was going to be focusing on ride-along videos of variants that aren't necessarily used all the time or I see on the battlefield. And damn, I love the 2X. I did really, really well, and I actually died in the making of that video, but it was actually a really good showcase of the particular chassis and variant. So make sure to check that out. Hey, if you like what we're doing over there, hit subscribe, like it, give me your feedback, let me know your setups, and I do read all of the comments that come up. We also have the Twitch. Go ahead.
What was your loadout?
My loadout on the 2X is an ERPPC, a Ultra Autocannon 5, 2 SRM 6s, and that's it. And frequently I get 500 to 600 damage easily each match. I mean, it's just the ability to aim with those SRMs. I don't know what it is. It's a beast. I love it. All right, we got the Twitch TV schedule up on our calendar at NoGutsNoGalaxy.net. Hey, make sure to follow us over at the IGP page. Make sure to subscribe. That way you guys get notifications. I usually start about 10 minutes early, start playing music, getting the blood flowing, getting you guys pumped up, ready to go. So make sure to head over there, and we will be kicking off things on our NoGutsNoGalaxy TV. It's NGNG TV Twitch channel, so make sure to head over there as well, and I will get you the link for that next week. Are you looking for members for your Battletech or MechWarrior unit? Advertise with NGNG today and reach thousands of potential recruits. For your own unit ad, head over to the website and check out the Support NGNG page for more information. And if you have any questions, make sure to email us. We have no problem with answering any of your questions.
Unit.
Cockpit. Is your unit looking for voice comms or a place just to hang out and chat with Battletech and MechWarrior fans? If so, get set up on the NoGutsNoGalaxy Outreach TeamSpeak 3 server today. Server information is located on our website. Once you're logged in, you can contact me, Sean Lang, to get you set up and or any other server admin. And if they don't know how to do it, they're just going to call me anyway. So yeah, about that. We got a ton of people on this TS3. It is one of the most active TS3s. It is free to use. It is password protected for everyone out there. But if you go to our website, there's a Connect to TS3 button on the right side. You have to have TS3 installed, but it'll auto connect you and set up a bookmark as well. And if you have any questions, make sure to just hit us up. You can hit us up on Facebook and or our website with that. Critical Hits number 20, Touchy, this Monday. I loved it. I think it was very subtle in its meaning, and this was actually a fan suggestion that Short Painter, aka Rudy, did. And he's actually going to be doing a lot more of these, by the way. He's been inundated with ideas, and some of them just so happen to be actually very, very good ideas. So I'm sure once we also have our forum on our new website up and live, you guys will be able to have direct access to Short Painter and give him, ideas left and right. So what did you guys think? Did you like this one, Brandon?
I actually really liked the joke at the end. I think it was probably one of the better comics recently.
Yeah. Anybody else? I mean, did you guys like it?
Yeah, Umriger suggested it, and it's silly, so.
Now, one suggestion I've had that actually has got me thinking is we were told, hey, you guys should leave the bubbles blank. And so get a comic out there that has, your own, illustration in it, but then put one out there that's blank and let the fans insert their own comments to sort of see what comes out of that. Is that something you guys would like? If so, let us know. And I think that would be sort of funny. Looks okay. Yeah, it's blown up. Everyone says yes. So it may be one of those things where we do on the forums too, and you guys are able to submit your ideas. And if anything, it could be one of those things where we release on Monday, and maybe that following, like Wednesday, we release a one from the community. So yes, a very, very good idea.
Yeah, people love doing that.
Yeah, most definitely. All right, so we got 2 community spotlights, and I think Brandon is going to get the first one for me. It is, first off, this picture I posted up on Facebook last night. His name is Spooky777, and this picture is Ambush. I just want to point this out to you. This is mech porn. Frickin' mech porn. I saw this immediately. I put it as my literally, it's my desktop right now. Hey, make sure to follow that guy on DeviantArt. I've actually contacted him, and I said, you know what, dude? I want to see more. Please do more. Everyone wants to see more. And it's sort of funny because if you look at the comments on the picture, Mechazone went over there and saw it. And, you know, it's funny because the guy was like, oh my God, it's Mechazone. Like, I follow you. And very, very awesome. I love it. That is artwork right there. Just pure and simple, just artwork. So thank you again, Spooky. I can't wait to see more of your work.
The amount of detail in the picture as well just phenomenal.
Yep. You notice in the Atlas, by the way, he has a turret, basically the waistline. He has a turret ring in there as well, which is very, very realistic. That's basically what our tanks have too inside. Like, just beautiful. I love it. Thank you so much for, he posted that and I was like, oh my God, yes. The next spotlight we have is another piece of artwork, and this actual individual contacted me, and he goes by The Star Dweller, and it is a picture of a shadow cat. Now, this guy is actually going to be doing concept art like this. He's just going to toss it my way every few weeks. I think the next one, he asked me personally what I wanted to see next, and I was like, well, I always love Centurions, and I love to see Timberwolves. And so I have no idea if those are what he's going to do next, but thank you again. Great work. I love the Shadow Cat, which, by the way, was like my favorite mech in MechWarrior Living Legends when I played. You can ask Deity. Travis used to roll with them all the time.
Yeah, definitely a solid mech, though.
It is.
I'm partial to it as well.
All right, so the next thing we got is, if you have a community spotlight, make sure to send your submissions to spotlight@NoGutsNoGalaxy.net. We look at all the emails that come in, and, we see, hey, this be worthy for you guys to get out there. And so, yeah, there you have it. Local games. So we have 3 local games. I'm going to go over these as quickly as I can. The first one up is we have SoCal Battletech Cup, and it's a West Coast Battletech event in Fullerton, California. Takes place on Sunday, April 14th from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. Wow, 10 hours straight. That's crazy. At the Firebase location. Card Addiction Games, call 714-870-1194 for more info. Details will be on the show notes. The next one up is for experienced Battletech players in the Phoenix area. Catalyst demo rep Joel Aggie, sorry if I messed it up, Joel. He says we'll be holding a one-on-one tournament this coming Saturday, March 2nd. Oh, never mind. We're just edit this out. Sorry.
Womp womp.
Next up, we have LAN Party. And this actually was sent to me, and it's Plan B Merchant Co-op in Halifax, Nova Scotia, from March 15th at 6 p.m. until Sunday, March 17th at 6 p.m. So basically 24 hours from or 2 days, 48 hours. Setup begins at 4 p.m., so start bringing your gear then. It's a $12.50 dollar fee from Friday to Sunday, $10 for Saturday and Sunday, $5 day pass. Lots of games including MechWarrior Online, TF2, Counter-Strike Source, and more. Head over to the website, and here is a link for you if you're interested, and of course that info will be in the show notes for you. So yeah. Are you playing a tabletop game in your area and looking for more players, or do you want to start one? If so, we'd love to announce it for free on our show. Email us at localgames@NoGutsNoGalaxy.net with your info. Don't forget to send us your pictures, or it didn't happen. For those who have got t-shirts, send me your pictures so I can post them on Facebook. And of course, funding for this podcast is brought to you by you. This is a listener-supported podcast, and your donations keep us on the air and pay for things such as hosting, TeamSpeak 3, equipment, software, prizes, and other projects. Check out our tip jar on the right side of the website. And we also have podcast unit ads, George Ledoux recordings, and I just want to say thank you so much for the support out there. And if you haven't, if you can't, it's totally cool. We totally understand. But if you have the capacity, definitely help out. By the way, hosting. We're switching our host, our website host. So that didn't happen today. We're waiting for our web guy to get home from work. But that's definitely something that's going to be happening probably tomorrow or the next day. I couldn't lock down the website. Totally new, but I couldn't lock it down, so people were registering, posting comments, and we couldn't back up the site. So yeah, sorry, noobish nature of mine. All right, George, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right, go ahead and do your 2 picks, and let me know the picks if you don't mind.
Sure. Do you want me to tell them to you or print them on the screen here, buddy?
You can tell them to me if you want.
Okay. Well, people didn't realize that they were out in the audience, and I was looking at them and reacting to them and their posting. And by golly, you either screwed yourself out of a good prize or you enamored yourself to me. So here you go. The first one is Private Zimmy.
Private Zimmy.
Private Zimmy.
Okay, and who's the second one?
The second one is Chevrolet 103.
Oh, Chevrolet 103. What's going on? Hey, you guys just won the Tactical Command Atlas posters. So what I need you guys to do, Zimmy and Chevrolet, is start up a little conversation with me real quick on TS3, and I will get your info after this podcast. So stay online so I get you. So I think I see Zimmy real quick.
I hope Chevrolet is listening, but I've seen no real sign there. But anyway.
Is that what endeared you to him?
Yes, he didn't give me shit. So, hey, sometimes that's all it takes.
There we go. And of course, thank you again for... I'd like to say thank you again for Tactical Command Crew, Persona Studios, for sending those Atlas posters. Very, very cool of you. And yeah, we've got plenty more to come. I'm just going to keep giving them away until I run out. All right, so Facebook, we have 2,981 people that have liked us and are following us on Facebook, and I highly, highly, highly promote Facebook. It is a great way for you guys to get instant notifications of stuff we post. And the cool thing is, like, not all the stuff I post most of the time is on our website. So a lot of you guys get stuff like that just instantly, and it's sort of like, yeah, directly to you in Facebook only. So, hey, if you don't like Facebook, totally understand. You can follow us on Twitter as well, NoGutsNoGalaxy, and our YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Help us out. It gives you a notification when we post up new videos, and that's at NoGutsNoGalaxy TV. And if you haven't done so, go to our website, register. We've got, obviously, the new website coming. I think we'll be able to keep the database, so I don't think you'll have to re-register. That's something we don't know yet, but obviously we'll let you know. So just keep that in mind. We will try to make it as painless as possible. And first off, I just want to say thank you again to Travis, Jai, and Adam for being a part of tonight's podcast. Thank you again for sort of last minute notice. Darren was sick. He couldn't show up. And, I want a little bit different opinion when it came to some of these topics. And, I really do appreciate you guys being civil about it, because at the end of the day, I feel like we need more of that in the community, especially in the forum community. I feel like being adults and being a little bit more mature about things would go a long way. So thank you again. Thank you guys to our community, our live studio audience, our other staff members. By the way, NGNG is growing quite a bit. We've got a lot of stuff behind the scenes. I just want to say thank you for your guys' hard work. And I want to say thank you to our live studio audience yet again. You guys are awesome. Congratulations to Zimmy and Chevrolet for winning the posters. And of course, we will be doing more giveaways. I haven't forgotten about the Valkyrie giveaway. I was a little bit busy, as I mentioned on the Twitch event. I had a death in the family, had to go away. Then Darren scared me to death this weekend. I thought he was dead, dying or dead or whatever. So, I'll post that up hopefully tomorrow, and we'll put it up for a week. So I apologize on the delay on that. But all the other giveaways, the 2 prior, the Rifleman and Archer, have already been shipped. And thank you again to Jerry for buying the video cards, the spare ones I had. That was definitely nice of you. So thank you again. This was your local No Guts, No Galaxy MechWarrior podcast. We hope you enjoyed tonight's show. This is Phil.
This is Greg.
This is Daniel.
This is George.
Until next time, Mech Warriors.
Live from sweet studios around the world.